Namaste and welcome to another short reading of an excerpt from Vashishta's Yoga. The excerpt I'm reading today is in continuation of the thread on worship, what sage Vashishta has learned from Lord Shiva himself, which he is now passing on to his beloved disciple, Sri Ram. In the segment I'm reading today, he's speaking especially about the offering of worship in the spirit of equanimity. He explains in detail what equanimity is, and he also describes how this offering can be in the spirit of an equal seeing without the involvement of opposites. So the Lord continued, one should engage oneself in this worship at all times, established in supreme equanimity in regard to all the percepts, whether they are pleasant or unpleasant. One should regard everything as good and auspicious, or one should regard everything as a mixture of good and evil. Realizing that everything is the one self, one should worship the self in this spirit. One should look with equal vision upon that which is pleasant. One should look with equal vision upon that which is pleasant and beautiful through and through, and that which is unendurably unpleasant. Thus should one worship the self. One should abandon the divisive notions of this I am and this I am not, and realize that all this is indeed Brahman, the one indivisible and infinite consciousness. In that spirit, one should worship the self. In and through all that one obtains, one should worship the self after having abandoned the distinction between the desirable and the undesirable, or even while relying on such a distinction, but using them as the materials for the worship. Without craving and without rejecting, that which is effortlessly and naturally obtained may be enjoyed. One should not get excited or depressed when faced with insignificant and significant objects, just as neither sky nor space is affected by the diverse objects that exist and grow in it. One should worship the self without psychological perversion, with every object that is obtained purely on account of the coincidence of time, place, and activity, whether they are popularly known as good or not good. In this procedure for the worship of the self, whatever article has been mentioned as being necessary for the worship is of the same nature as all others, though the expressions used are different. Equanimity is sweetness itself, and this sweetness is beyond the senses and the mind. Whatever is touched by that equanimity instantly becomes sweet, whatever its description or definition may be. That alone is regarded as worship, which is performed when one is in a state of equanimity, like that of space, when the mind has become utterly quiescent, without the least movement of thought, when there is effortless absence of perversity. Established in the state of equanimity, the wise man should experience infinite expansion within himself while carrying out his natural actions externally without craving or rejection. Such is the nature of the worshipper of this intelligence. In his case, delusion, ignorance, and ego sense do not arise, even in a dream. Remain in this state, O sage, experiencing everything as a child does. Worship the Lord of this body, the intelligence that pervades it, with all that is brought to you by time, circumstance, and environment, and rest in supreme peace, devoid of desire. With that, we end today's reading of an excerpt from Vashishta's Yoga. Thank you. Bye bye.